We are in for a hell of a ride this morning, folks. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Makers and Movers. How are we doing on this fine, everything's out of whack. What are we? April 9th, Wednesday, April 9th. Things are a little wonky donkey here, and I'm not sure what kind is going on with StreamYard. It's telling me it's having issues, and it can't find cameras, and it can't find lighting, and it can't find all kinds of stuff. So we're going to make do with what we have because that's what we do, right? That's what we do. So good morning. Welcome. It's your first time here or long time here. And I know who you are, where you're from, what's in your cup, how the weather is in your area. It feels like it's like 30-some degrees outside. It is still cold. More than a week into April, folks. I am ready for this change. I got coffee in the cup. And our 5 things. What are 5 things you are going to accomplish today? So for us, we've got invoicing that needs to get done. We've got DTF. There's a lot of DTF that came in, and we're going to do our best to get everything going. DTF, get shirts that need to be pressed, yard signs that need to be mocked up, and then a meeting for a team store today. So those are your 5. Those are my 5. What are your 5? I'm telling you, it's an amazing day. And we've been doing a little more consulting with people lately, which has been a lot of fun. Just to talk and to see things and talk with people. And one of the conversations that I had on Monday afternoon was somebody, they do a lot of craft fairs and that, and they're just looking for other ideas. They're like, some of they're hit and miss, weather related outdoor ones, what are some things? So we started going through some things that they can do, during, when the show is slow, when it's not the greatest, when there are issues with things. And so we said, hey, I said, I'm going to take this conversation, I'm going to turn it into a show. And they're like, good, go for it. So that's what we're doing. And we're going to put that out there. And that's what we're going to talk about today is, those things to do, nobody shows up. Well, what happens? So that's what we're going to do. So check in. Let me know. Let me know how you do vendor shows and what happens when it's slow, if it's slow for you. And remember, sharing is caring, folks. Go up, like, and subscribe. Even if you're subscribed, go unsubscribe, resubscribe, do all that. Get reset on the notifications. Help us all move along from there. What's up, Chuck? Good morning to you, my friend. Connie, good morning as well. Good morning, Connie from Chuck. Hello, creators from Jerry. Good morning, Jerry. Hi, Chuck and Connie. Barb's up there in north central Minnesota with 36, cloudy, water in the cup. 5 things: DTF layouts, order blanks materials, cut sign vinyl, digitizing, work on business. That's right. It is Wednesday. We have that scheduled in our mentorship community. Work on your business Wednesday. And what we do is we have a call. It's at 9:30, so right after this one. And I think we're just going to, I like keeping it kind of open all day for it. So if you're in our mentorship community, make sure to stick around for that because, there's always some fun conversations that's going on in there. And I'm sure today, when we start our 9:30 call, we're going to be talking AI because that was yesterday, today, and tomorrow for me. Tanya, good morning to you. Barb, hi, Chuck, Connie, Jerry. Hi, Tanya from Barb. Nini, good morning, everyone. Good morning to you as well. Hi, Miss Nini from Barb. Tim, good morning. Toledo, 35. Tinting away this morning with Mountain Dew. Tint Man Tim over there. Hi, Tim, or hey, Tim from Barb. Hello, Tanya, Barb, Tim, and Nini, or Nene. Nini? Nene. Which one is it? A or E? Which one? And me. Cinnamon tea in the cup, 32-ish outside, freezing. Right? Are you over this yet, Jerry? I am. Tanya's got weather's chilly, pineapple refresher, brain dump, pressing, prep screens, exercise, prep for weekend event. Great Wednesday there for you. Did StreamYard give access to TikTok live like Restream? I seen an email about something with it, but it didn't sound like it. So that's on my list that I'm going to check into when something popped up, and I want to go see what it actually is, because before you could do it, but you had to do it through the studio, and it was kind of weird. And so I wonder if now things have switched up, which it is. TikToker land is where we're at. Rena, good morning. SoCal, it's chilly 58. I'm looking at like, oh, it's going to be 58 for the high today. I don't even know if it's going to be 58 for the high today, and it's just trash, and I'm just over it. I'm over this weather, folks. I really am. I just need some sunny. It looks like this weekend we might be in like the 70s, and like the weather app doesn't even want to open for me. It's crashing. Oh, that's because they didn't update. Thanks for giving me an update. Yeah, what are we getting up to? Yeah, our high today, it's going to be 58 and rain. How fun is that? 58 and rain, so cold, crappy rain. But this weekend, it looks like it's going to be 60s, 70s. I'm down for that. Down for a little golf cart ride. Down, get some pizza, call it good. So 5 things: work on website, proof for jobs, make tint appointment. Wish Tim was close by. You can just ship it to him. Sandblast glasses and take photos. So much fun. I really do miss sand carving. I really do, especially something that was a good deep carve with multi layers. Man, I really miss that. Hi, Rena from Barb. Hey, Rena from Jerry. Hit yonder like button, Jerry. That is correct. Hi, Barb and Jerry. Chandra, good morning. From Texas, sunny and 54. Waiting coffee to brew. Sorry, I've been alive a bit. I've missed everyone. We've missed you too, Chandra. How are you doing? How is everything going for it? Tim said one of my other podcasts was able to stream from with Restream. We'll see. I think they have. There's been ways to be able to do it, and you had to set up keys to make it work. And I wonder if they're making it easier now. Jerry says she's so over it. Going to Atlanta on the 24th, and it has got to be warmer there. We're hoping so. Chandra from Jerry. She's yelling at you. Not in the mean way, in the nice way. 48 projected high. Rain later, right? That's cold. That's trashy. Man, I should. You got something in my eye. I don't know what it is, but there's something in my eye. Oh, Rena says it's only gonna be 84 today. That's it. Only 84. I can't wait that. You should message me. I have window tints across the country. I can help you find one. There you go. There you go. Tim's got a tint. Tim has got a tint network he can help you with. Connie says, weather is gloomy and cold in Chicago area. We're over it, right? Water in the cup might change to beer if the embroidery machine does not start working today. 5 things: get machine running, websites, proof, machine. Ooh, those fun machines. I'm there with it. But we're waiting on the final stuff with Xtool on when NDAs are up, when we can go over things. We're still waiting on things to be fixed, that we're requesting for it. Hopefully it's there today. If not, well, it's another day that they're trying to figure stuff out, and we'll go from there. So I say, we get right into this, because when we look at, at any of this, we do a show. Hey, listen, they're not always the greatest, right? So, nobody shows up. Now what? So we're going to give you some things to do to kind of salvage that for it, because, you set up early, your booth looks amazing. You remembered everything. And this is, your bestsellers, your signage, even snacks and money. You remembered it all, but then crickets. Crowd never comes. Or worse, they walk right on by you and they don't even stop. So if you've done vendor shows, this has happened. If you have done vendor shows and it haven't, good for you, but there's a chance that it will happen. Because we've all been in those shows that just don't deliver. Maybe the weather was awful. Can't do anything with that. Maybe the organizers didn't promote it. Crappy organizers. Or maybe people just didn't show up. Whatever the reason, you're standing in your beautifully prepped booth wondering if you should have just stayed home, right? But don't worry, you're not going to pack up, because a slow show doesn't mean a wasted day. In fact, with the right mindset and a few strategic moves, you can still turn it into a win. And so we're going to talk about how we can salvage a slow market and make it work for your business. Now, remember, I've always looked at these, anytime we do an on-site event, I've always looked at it as a networking opportunity. I don't go into it with we're going to sell X amount of things. I want to have X amount of contacts from it, because there's other things we can do for it. We have the biggest, baddest booth. Maybe there's somebody down that they're just sitting at a table and they don't have anything. Okay, hey, how can we help them, see their thing? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to make the most of it, because we need to make the most of it. All right. Tip 1, because think about when you're going to events. We got an event. If Cindy's here, Cindy has an event this weekend. We're going to go down and visit Cindy probably Saturday morning Saturday after baseball. We're probably going to run down and see Cindy. There's an event this weekend for it. But tip 1, don't sit down. Unless you are creating something. And I know people do that, like Cindy's one of them. She's making jewelry there. She's doing things there. So, you're sitting at a station, you're doing that. When you're sitting there doing it, or you're standing there doing it, that's one thing. But, when a market is slow, it's so tempting just to sit behind the table, scroll on your phone, mentally list everything else you could have done with your day. But sitting down signals that you've kind of checked out on it, right? and it can discourage shoppers who do walk by. When I see somebody sitting in a booth and they're just sitting in a camping chair over in the corner and they're reading, I'm like, well, I don't want to go in there and bother them. Like, oh, they're not there with it. So, you do, you don't want that to happen. If you're a maker, and you're creating something on site, you're pressing shirts, you're engraving, you're painting, you're doing that. Absolutely okay to be seated. The key is to stay visibly engaged. Talk to people, see it there. When you're working the booth, you're demonstrating your value, and you're drawing attention, and you don't want to be zoning out with that. So, shoppers are more likely to stop if you look approachable and ready to chat. We're here for it. If you're sitting there looking bored, they're assuming your booth isn't worth checking out. Or worse, they feel awkward just walking by you. Those people that are just sitting there in their chair, staring at you going by. Yeah, awkward. Stop doing that. Okay, let's just stop doing that. There's that opportunity for you to do things. You start pressing things. I know people that will take jobs that they have to their booth, so they have something to do. So they can, have that heat press going live at the show. It draws people in. They hear something, they see something, they want to know what's going on, and it may not buy immediately, but they're going to ask questions. Because movement equals curiosity, which equals connection. So, commit to standing up during your peak times. Bring a small project or something sample, a sample making task to do in your booth to create motion and invite that interaction. Let's start with that one. And let's see. I'm going back to the comments so I don't miss anything right there. Jerry says, shared it out to a few. Thanks, Jerry. And Jeff, morning, still in bed, spring break. I don't blame you, Jeff. Only 84, right, Jerry? That's what I'm saying. Chandra, I'm going through a lot to put it all in here, but if it helps anyone, my high is 82. But more gusty ones is expected today. I don't like wind either. Jeff, come on. It's a sunny day on the East Coast. Jeff's not on the East Coast, though. I've had this happen at several shows. I walked around with my cards and talked to other vendors. Hand out cards, got business after the show. There we go. Jeff hasn't even looked outside yet. Well, wait, did Jeff go somewhere in spring break? Jeff probably went somewhere in spring break. Myrtle Beach, right? Years ago, we did a farmer's market, and this is from Barb. I found a good signage. I found good signage is important. My husband had the gift of gab. We sold beeswax, candles, and honey. He had little spoons so people could sample. See? There it is. I bet if I were Jeff, I'd still be in bed. Well, you could. My husband could easily talk with anyone. I immediately answer the questions. And Connie says, I never bring a chair. I always say hi to people as they pass by. I stand in front of the booth. Cindy's here. She's prepping for Saturday. I have less than a prime location, so I'm preparing for that too. Ooh, and so Cindy's gonna create a little thing on preparing for less than prime location. Cindy, let's make that a Friday one, Cindy. Let's do that. Let's see what we can do there. Hi, Jeff and Cindy from Barb. Hi, Barb from Jeff. Cindy, that's nuts. Bring a chair. Well, she's gonna work, I think. Jeff said, nope, just was up late chatting with China. Silly 12-hour difference. Oh, yeah. Do I know what you're getting? I know what you're getting, don't I? I know. I'm pretty sure I do. All right. So, a couple of you, mentioned, business cards and talking. So that's going to be the next thing. Network like that ninja, all right? But a friendly ninja, right? When foot traffic is slow, don't waste your time twiddling your thumbs. Let's go make some friends. Right? Vendor markets are one of the best ways to build that network of fellow makers, potential collaborators, and even future customers. So, an engraver and a candle maker can swap ideas and end up bundling things together. They can each add, a custom coaster and a candle. They can create this. Oh, yeah, you do that, I do that. We can do gift sets, in the next event. So it doubles their table size. Hey, I've got stuff over there. You got stuff over here. Thanks to that one slow, crappy day in a conversation that never would have happened, otherwise, right? So we were able to do that. Exchanging that information with other vendors. A jewelry maker, talks to a first-time T-shirt seller about her favorite fall shows. The seller ends up applying, getting accepted, and said it was her best event ever. Other makers know the shows are good or not good. They tell you the ones, yep, here's what it is. Here's the things to stay away from. Here's the things to look over. Look for it. So when you do these shows, make it a goal to talk to at least 3 vendors at every show. Ask what they do, share a little bit about your work, and then follow them on their social, because you never know what that simple little intro might lead to. And 3 isn't too hard. I got the one to the left of me. I got the one to the right of me. I got the one straight in front of me. Right? There. 3. We can do that. Next up, hey, let's use social media to drive traffic or build that visibility that's with it. Because if people didn't come to the event, we got to go to them, right? So our social media audience is still out there scrolling. And this is the perfect time to remind them where you are and what they're missing. Go live, post a reel, maybe snap a booth selfie with a fun caption. Tag the event, use local hashtags. Let your followers know that you've got some great stuff ready to go for them. You may even drive some real-time traffic, or secure some, post-event sales from followers, who DM'd you asking, hey, is this still available? Can I come get this now? You never know, right? So what we can do is, we can post that quick reel showing, our new tumblers on display. Hey, these are just in here, only available at this event today. Hey, here's it is. It's limited, only available here. Let's do something to, in the caption, that we want them to, a sense of urgency, that FOMO, tag the location. Not only, could you, make 2 on-site sales, but from people who didn't plan on attending because they really saw that. It's like, ooh, that's going to be great for it. But it also helps, look busy and build that fear of missing out. I've only got 3 of these left. Who's going to come get them? So things like that, maybe, a live video tour, because that can lead to, the post-show orders. You're already set up. You've got an amazing booth. Use it to your advantage, show your display, and then you can say, what you're doing and what you have there. And then, at the end of that video or live that you're doing, say, hey, if you can't make it out today, just comment or DM me, I'll hold anything and or ship something, something like that. Those orders can turn to online orders, those comments, orders. Now, something that we can do, is take and post 3 pieces of content during every show. Okay, maybe a setup pick, a midday pick. Here's what I've got. Or post live, and then kind of that end of day recap. Tag the location and use those community hashtags for that maximum visibility on it. Before we get into 4, we check in and see if we've got here with it. Where was it at? Oh, China. It's crazy, Jeff. Good morning, Jerry, Tim, Jeff, Barb. Wish I could send you some warmth from Chandra. Tim says, I got another crazy update from Augusta. We'll talk about that later. Rita, you're missing out from all this fun stuff because you're too good for us. Jerry says, I always straighten the booth, then messed it up so I can straighten it again, just like a kid. Ooh, look at that. Rena says, or engrave wooden lids of the candles. It's using noggin, Rena, right there. Jerry says, I like being in the booth. Seems more approachable for walking shows. All right. Jeff says, my brain always goes to how can I help them? Look into the UV, immediate thoughts of ideas that I could do with other companies. I know, Jeff. I'm going to look at a printer next month. I'm not getting it, but I'm going to go look at it. Cindy says, if I'm at a slow show, I'm still on the clock. I'll update jury. I think I'll update jury display photos, take merch photos, work on jewelry, and I bring out my tools to make some noises to get people's attention. That's right, because people hear stuff, they see stuff. It's just like any of the ones that food, like the mixed nuts guys are the greatest. They start from that. I smell cashews. Where's that? I'm gonna go find it because there's nothing better than a hot bag of nuts at a market. So I know I'll be getting that. Jerry says, I agree, Cindy. Keep working and make that time count. Jeff says, hello, Chandra. My eyes are not fully open yet. Chandra says, I bring a chair. I have to frequently switch from sitting to standing. My chair is a high captain's chair and set up near the front corner of the canopy. I do stand when addressing customers. Got it. Jerry says, yeah, stay engaged with the folks looking around. That's right. And he says, I use a show special towel too. This weekend is smoked meat, not meth, in a variety of colors. And if you don't chuckle at my booth, I'm not doing my job. What size is that towel? Is that like standard kitchen size table? Save me one because we'll be there. What colors? Tell me the colors and tell me this. You haven't, Cindy, have you posted that already? So you can say, hey, you can order these and pick them up at our show because I could use a new towel. And I'm like, hey, I like supporting you. Why not? And I don't like meth. I'm not meth. I don't know what you're talking about, Rena. I have no clue what you're talking about. But for anybody else, down in the description, you can join our mentorship community. Links down there. You can join it. We have calls Monday, Wednesday, Friday. There you go. You can get in there and get in our Discord. We'll be moving soon, so get in now before everything increases on it. All right. Number 4. Let's capture the content while the booth is full of product. Right? I got you right there. Slow traffic is that perfect excuse to knock out a little content batching. Like I said, your booth is full. Your display's on point, baby. What do you got? Time. So let's use that time to take photos, record short videos, and capture the kind of content that you can repurpose again and again and again, right? So, somebody who, sublimation, right? You take individual pics of every item you have, because so this is an outdoor one. You have that chance to photograph them in natural light, so they kind of look great. And later on, you can use those extra shots for, Etsy listings, Facebook's posts, seasonal ads, saving hours of future work for it. Everything's already laid out. Take a picture. Take a picture. Take a picture. And maybe, we got the pictures down. Hey, let's film a mini booth walkthrough, right? So let's record, a 15-second, 30-second, 60-second, 1-minute clip of just walking through, the top things in the booth, the top 3 styles that are posted or that are brought there, the top selling things, the things you really want to push. And then next week, you can go ahead and start posting those. That one video, it may get more views than the entire amount of people that came to the booth last week. So, hey, make those videos. You're there. You got a phone in your hands. Video, picture, video, picture, video, picture, video, picture. And am I going to miss anything before jumping into here to 5? And Jerry said, Cindy, that's a great idea about the towel. I like that, Cindy. Great towel saying, I'm going to get one. I'm going to get one. Like I said, I think Saturday we got ball till 11, and I think we plan on swinging down because we're going into the weekend thinking that we're going to have people end up on our patio on Saturday night. So that's what we got on. And number 5, as we wrap all this up, don't leave without, something, right? What do you mean by this? If nobody buys today, that doesn't mean that they won't buy tomorrow. So use this time to build your list, build your following. This is something that you can reconnect with them later on with promos and new drops and event updates. So a couple of things we could do is, hey, maybe, we can just do a raffle for a $10 gift card. Hey, anybody that drops an email in here, we can go ahead and do it. Hey, say only 30 people came. Well, hey, you got 30 emails. So even though you maybe only had 4 sales that day, I've got 30 people's emails that I can now send a message for Mother's Day. Hey, we got Mother's Day stuff. And maybe of those 30, 2 of them buy. All right. So they were there at a booth. They didn't buy anything there. We got their contact information. We got them in our list. We're doing our email marketing. They placed an order. All right. That's what we're doing. Maybe something else that we can do is, can we do something free? Can we go with, maybe you pick it out, it's a free item, to anyone who followed it on Instagram during the show, right? So, hey, you gave, you got 17 new people, and now here's your chance to bring in 17 more things, right? Several shares from the booth and stories. It puts that stuff out there. Totally free exposure. You're just going to do something, something small, free. You don't have to go overboard on it. But, can we create, when we're looking at this, can we create that kind of mini sign-up station, or a sign-in, something that makes it super easy to follow, to join your list. Easy enough, use a QR code. Boom, I got a QR code that's going to a form. Go here, fill this out. You'll be notified. Then you can give them their code. You can use something as simple as a clipboard and writing paper and throwing it in the fishbowl, right? So set a goal, collect 5 names per event. That's what we want, 5 new names to add to your stuff right there. So as we wrap this up, a slow show doesn't mean a dead day. It just doesn't, because it's easy to let a slow vendor show get you down. But the most successful makers know how to turn those meh moments into a movement, right? We can build those relationships, we can create content, we can grow our following, and we can set ourselves up for better shows in the future. So recapping that up, what are we going to do? We're going to stand up, or if we need to sit, we're going to stay engaged while we're sitting. We're going to make friends with other vendors. We are going to show up on social media and tag our location with our pictures and videos. We're going to show up on social media with pictures and videos tagging our location. That sounds a lot better than what I had in my head. We're going to take killer content while we're there. Pictures, videos, pictures, videos, pictures, videos, pictures, videos, pictures, pictures, videos, videos, pictures, videos, pictures, videos. And we're going to walk away with new followers, new emails, new potential customers for the future. Now, so we may not walk away with that bag full of money, but we can walk out with momentum. And sometimes that's even worth going to it. That's what we got for you today. I'd love to hear your questions, comments, concerns. Remember, we do this every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Friday's topic, I might say, how to deal with a bad booth location. I think that could be a good one. I've got another schedule with the person I did call with, and that might be a good one. So I just have to do this and go that way with it. I'm on TV. So can I say I'm on TV? I'm on TV. I'm going to be in Orlando in October. I'm almost positive. We're seeing if the dates sync up. So if anybody is going to PU, Printing United in Orlando in October, might be down. And I'm not saying that I'll split a house with you, but I might have a house that is going to be blank for the days of the show because somebody's going to be out of the country. So we're going to see what we can pull off with that. Jerry says, take a zillion business cards, pens, any promos you can take them with. That's right. Get your stuff out there. Do what you need to do with it. Hi, Evelyn from Jerry. All right, with that, we're going to wrap this up. Remember, we do this every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. I'm always open to your comments. I'm always open to your suggestions for show topics. Put those down in here. We still have a busy week of we need to start filming content for laser items we got in the engrave. We've got DTF stuff that needs to go. I think on the project list today is a mixed media DTF and glitter that I'm make sure to film so we can get that out there for it. And then just all the other stuff that comes. And then the crazy AI training for the week has been, if you've seen what we put off, while yes, it is not perfect. I completely understand that there's issues with it, but guess what? I'm actually going out there and doing it. I'm making the stuff work. I'm seeing how we can make this and make it. I've got like some rockin' songs that we've created yesterday, and it was kind of amazing. So we'll see what we got there for it. All right. You guys have an amazing day. We'll be back Friday. Because like I said, we do this every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8:30 a.m. Make sure to like and subscribe. And until next time, peace, love, press on. We'll see you then.